Let's try something like that. Let's go to a regular brush here. My brush panel, bring that to my cursor. So I can paint over that if I want. Undo, maybe create a new layer to stack on top of that. Alright, so I'll close that, and if I want to see just the sculpt detail, I can reduce the opacity to 0. Same thing for the glossiness on this one. 0 and 0. So if I want, I can scrub the slider and see the changes. I can even go above 100. Let me hide that one. As I mentioned, you can use the erase brush either here or in the sculpt workspace. You can use erase layers. This should be moved down in the stack here in future builds, so if you don't see it up here, it'll probably be down here at the bottom. But yeah, you can change your eraser transparency here. Now obviously erasing is destructive just like it is in Photoshop. We don't yet have the ability to mask. If you're working on a low polygon UV mapped model, you can use the magnification and reduction brush. So this lets you increase or decrease your depth level along your brush rather than just the entire layer. And something like that should be available for sculpt layers on high poly objects, but they're not yet. So again, masking is something that's to be added in the future, as well as the ability to modulate the depth after the fact locally with a brush. Nevertheless, one major distinguishing feature of Sculpt Layers is that we have the flexibility not only to add the booleans as I mentioned earlier, but we can also use dynamic tessellation after the fact. So maybe I've sculpted something and I want to add some more tessellation to it. I don't have to bake all that information down like I might in another application. You can see as I zoom in, it's not all uniform, but I can use something like live clay, reduce my depth to 0, and as I brush, it's applying localized subdivision. Okay, so now you can see that doesn't destroy my layers. Yeah, I can still use these other layers on top of that. And if I want, let's go back to 100. This one, I'll stick with 100. Let's move that down in the stack. We can scrub our depth slider. As I may have mentioned before, a lot of it really depends on the complexity and amount of sculpting that you've done on a particular model. If you've done a lot of work, it can be slower trying to scrub. But if it's more moderate in complexity, then being able to scrub back and forth is something you should be able to do on most of your sculpt layers. Let me turn my wireframe off. And if I want, I can also merge down as well. I can merge this layer down with this one. And let me go ahead and show how you can use booleans. Let me go ahead and just add an object here. Let's go to primitives. Again, I'll select this. And I'll make sure click to place is checked. I'm going to turn symmetry off for the moment. Let's go ahead and uncheck that and hit apply. And I'll step out. If I zoom in, I can see the object. Let's turn wireframe on. It will be welded. As you can see, the Boolean operation effectively overwrites the mesh state in that specific area to where it's semi-permanent. However, the area outside the Boolean remains unaffected. Alright, so that's going to conclude this video. We're going to try and provide an update once the feature is complete. But we wanted to be able to go ahead and show you how it works now in its current state. So thank you for watching. We will see you next time.